Well, good morning or good afternoon, wherever you might be, as we begin our discussion here today on a very interesting topic of GDPR fundamentals. My name is Brian Pizzillo. A little bit of background about myself. I'm an attorney here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm going into my 26th year of practice. Part of my practice area is data privacy. It's a fascinating area, and hopefully the information provided today will be useful. Back in 2018, I did something I never thought I'd do, which was go back to school and get a graduate certificate in data privacy and cybersecurity. The reason being that privacy is really a dominant issue in today's legal landscape. It is something that I find really fascinating because it changes. And to say that it changes on an almost daily basis would not be an exaggeration. So today, we're going to be talking about GDPR, which is the General Data Protection Regulation, the law that was enacted on May 25th, or went into effect, I should say, on May 25th, 2018 in the European Union. At the time, 28 nations, now down to 27 with Brexit. This is a huge piece of legislation that took about 2.5 years to draft. Within the European Union, it is a law that is binding within the European Union on all 27 nations. And as we're going to discuss today, it has what's called extraterritorial effect, in that it will affect nations outside of just those that are in the European Union. And it is a trap for the unwary. If you're not used to dealing with GDPR, it's a landmine of potential issues. One thing I would want to point out, kind of right at the outset, is here in the United States we think of privacy as being important, and it's becoming more important. People want their privacy, or at least they arguably want their privacy. And you're seeing more and more laws created here in the United States. California, Colorado, Virginia have all enacted comprehensive privacy laws. Just added to that list is Utah, which, in something that's not done very often, passed a piece of legislation through both houses of their legislature unanimously, establishing a Utah Privacy Act. One of the impetuses for the changing law here in the U.S. is, in fact, the GDPR. And as we'll talk about today, the GDPR is a very strong motivating factor and a blueprint followed by many nations, many states, and it continues to be the driving force behind privacy pretty much on a worldwide basis. So understanding the GDPR is a great way to understand how other nations, how various states within the United States are addressing privacy. And if you understand GDPR, and at least its fundamentals, it'll give you a real leg up in terms of complying with new and changing U.S. laws. Like I said, to say that it's changing every day is not an overstatement. So as we go forward, we'll use this as a backdrop. Hopefully, it'll be a really good background for addressing a lot of different privacy laws wherever you might be. And with that, we're just kind of jumping into it. The first question I think that is always asked about any law, particularly in GDPR, certainly no exception, is what is its scope? To whom does it apply? When does it apply? When basically do businesses and people have to worry about it? Well, if you look at the GDPR, look to Article 2, and this will define the scope. And you'll see that it applies to the processing of personal data that is wholly or partly processed by automated means. It will also apply to other data that is handled and processed through non-automated means if it is part of a filing system. So you kind of have to back that out and ask, well, what does that really mean? In essence, if you have data and there's any sort of automated aspect to it, there's a computer involved, there's any sort of data processing. Today, obviously, artificial intelligence is a huge issue. Businesses are using that all the time. If that data is used or processed in any fashion by a computer or some sort of artificial intelligence and it's done automatically, you fall within the GDPR. If there's absolutely no technology involved, if I'm sitting in my office right now, I have a file cabinet, and I have just good old-fashioned paper in there, GDPR will still kind of govern the day there if it's part of a filing system. So I probably gave the answer away when I said I had a filing cabinet. Maybe it's in my desk. Anywhere where I've got information concerning natural persons, this does not apply to corporations, and it's part of a system and I keep a filing system, it's organized, again, the GDPR will apply.